Welcome back, everybody. We are the Video Store Junkies, and this is Q-Tips. We are back to bring you a few selections of movies to stream during the weekend. And I'm going to pass this over to Bill.
So my theme this week is the films of Brian De Palma, who's an interesting guy. Like a lot of the folks I like, has kind of fallen off. Hasn't really produced a lot of great stuff in his later years, but there's always that creative decline. Usually there is. But I'm going to start off with one of his earliest films, and it's 1973's Sisters. And this one kind of gave him a reputation that kind of followed him forever about being a real devotee to Hitchcock. And it's true. There's a lot of influences to Hitchcock in this movie. But you know what? If you're gonna be imitating someone or be inspired by someone and you're a filmmaker, I can think of way worse folks to be a disciple of than Hitchcock. Now, this is a movie about some killer twins played by Margot Kidder. And I just want to say, if you don't figure out the twist in the first, I don't know, 15 minutes of the movie, you must be new to the movie watching experience. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but I don't know that I could spoil this movie. It's about killer twins that you never see together in the same room. I mean, come on, Columbo, figure it out. That being said, it's really cool. It's got some it's got that young, I'm a budding filmmaker. I may never get a chance to make a movie again, so I'm throwing everything I can against the wall. And it's quite good. It still holds up for a low budget thriller, a lot of fun, and it shows a filmmaker who is got a lot of potential, which he will very soon show in my next recommendations. But first, I will send this over to Renee.
So, this is one of my favorite subgenres of horror, and it is teenagers being murdered. So, and I'm gonna throw everybody off a little bit with one of my classic sequel recommendations. You can watch the original, but I promise you that you will be yelling at your screen for a good bit of this movie. It'll probably drive you crazy. But the second one knows what's up, and it's a lot funnier. It's a little bit lighter, has a little bit more plot. I shouldn't say plausible. Anyway, this movie is Jeepers Creepers 2.
Oh,
Yeah. So, and it was one of those things. I think I actually really enjoyed the original, kind of for what it was. Again, bunch of teenagers being murdered. But when I watched it back, I was just like, "What are you doing?" The classic thing you yell at the TV when you're watching a horror movie. So, these high school kids, they get stranded on the side of the road. There's a problem with the tire blew out on their school bus. And this monster Mothman is basically there to pick them off one by one, like almost like a can of sardines. And yes, I found this movie to be kind of dumb, but very entertaining. Oh, and this movie also stars Ray Wise and Diane Delano, I believe, and they were
hmm.
Northern Exposure alums.
Oh,
So
okay.
little Northern Exposure.
Now, do you know the backstory about the filmmaker who made the Jeepers Creepers movies?
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that. I do not know the backstory. However, I was like, why does this man sound like he was in The Sopranos? So please, yes, if
Oh,
you know some of that.
yeah, The Sopranos would have kicked him out of the club. He's a convicted pedophile who, yeah, who just to make it worse, he used his movie making as a means of getting these poor young boys alone. And anyway, he went to jail, and for reasons I just don't understand, he was kind of championed by some filmmakers, to let him out and give him a second chance and everything. And they let him out, and he makes this movie about a creepy monster who stalks boys by sniffing their underwear. And I'm just like, okay, um, yeah, he's a piece of crap. But yeah, listen, I've long maintained that you have to separate the art from the artist.
Mm,
As long as I'm not putting any shekels in his pocket, I can still enjoy the movie for what it is. But but it's not like it's great art. Why this guy? You could
right.
argue that Polanski is a good enough artist that we can overlook his incredible flaws, because he makes great movies. I would disagree, but I think people can make that argument.
Sure.
But Victor Silva, or whatever the hell his name was, all he makes
Yes.
is Jeepers Creepers movies. So
Oh,
I don't know.
Jesus. So everyone should watch Sisters.
Yeah.
Or
That's
if
funny.
you're gonna watch Jeepers Creepers, you should borrow it from a friend and do not pay
As
for the
far as I
facility.
know, Brian De Palma has not done anything that would, earn him jail time and or an eternity in hell. So
There
he's
you
got
go.
that going for him, as far as we know.
My God. Margot
Yeah,
Kidder, 1977,
yeah,
Sisters. You guys should watch it.
yeah.
and, uh, and I will pass this back to Bill.
Well, continuing. So Sisters came out and got a lot of attention. I mean, it wasn't a huge moneymaker, but it got the kind of thing that makes a young filmmaker happy. And then he was given the chance to kind of do like a dream project. And boy, oh boy, he just knocked it out of the park with 1974's Phantom of the Paradise, an updating of Phantom of the Opera with a rock and roll soundtrack by Paul Williams. It's great. And star making performances by William Finley, who was also in Sisters, and Jessica
Oh.
Harper, who is just absolutely phenomenal. You're looking at this movie and you're like, well, this is the movie that launched these people. And it died at the box office. It just up and died. Nobody could figure it out. The studio was so convinced that this movie was going to be a hit
Hmm.
that they went to the expense. After they made the movie, they discovered that there was some copyright infringement involving Led Zeppelin, who's like Disney. You do not get on their lawyer's bad side. So they went in and digitally changed the film to alter some stuff. I don't know. It must have been cost a fortune to do that. And then the marketing people had no idea how to market this movie. Absolutely none. How do you market a comedy, horror, musical, rock and roll, visually dynamic? I mean, I don't know who this movie was really made for other than me. And I just don't think that's not enough to bring in the box office. It has gained its reputation over the years. I mean, it became a cult classic. Whenever they tell people it's like, "Oh, your film bombed," but then it became a cult classic. You always see this pain look in the filmmaker's eyes, like, "Yeah, you know how much money you get for having a cult classic? Nothing. Butt kiss. Absolutely none.
Hooray.
So, thanks for nothing." Um, but boy, it's just a great movie. It really
Hmm.
is, and an awesome soundtrack. I mean, um, and Paul Williams stars in it too. He's a little bit miscast, but he's having a great time. I mean, this has
Hmm.
just got everything in it. I love this movie. Absolutely love it. We did a whole panel on it at Dragon Con and invited the one person I know who hates this movie, award-winning filmmaker Christopher J. Moore. And he probably wisely decided not to be on the panel of a bunch of people just, like losing their shit over this film, that he is just like, I don't hate it, but eh. And we would have just like, what do you mean, eh? We demand you love it. So he wisely backed out. But it's just such a fun movie. I believe this is it's on Movie Land TV, whatever the hell that is. You may have to pay for it on other things, but it's
Yeah.
definitely worth. Actually, maybe it's on HBO Max. You
Hmm.
know what? If you got to throw a couple bucks at it, go right ahead. Maybe
It's worth
some
it.
of it will go to Brian De Palma. I really do think the utter failure of this movie, not, this is like the thing failure. When you make a movie that's exactly what you wanted it to be, it comes out, with all the things that could go wrong. You make this beautiful piece of work, and then everyone just craps on it. It
Oh.
breaks your heart. It just breaks your heart. And I don't know that I think that was probably one of the worst things ever to happen to Brian De Palma. And we're talking about a guy who made Bonfire of the Vanities. So, anyway.
He could get like a little email that says like, "Hey, somebody streamed this movie on Amazon." It could make his day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Maybe it will. He probably regrets ever even thinking about making this movie. And also, Jessica Harper and William Finley, what happened? If you
Hmm.
watch that movie and you think to yourself, why is Jessica Harper not in every movie? She can sing, she can dance, she's got charisma up the wazoo, she's cute as a freaking button, and she's a good actress. Why is she not famous? I mean, she had a good career,
Yeah.
But why is she not famous? Famous? William Finley, I can kind of get because he's kind of an odd duck and he plays odd characters. They're not going to cast him as a leading man. I get that.
Mhm.
But Jessica Harper is an absolute mystery to me.
Interesting.
Anyway, I send this now to another lovely person, the lovely Renee.
Thank you so much. I'll edit this part out, but she probably didn't wanna sleep with the producers and directors.
Probably, probably. And Victor Silva wasn't interested, so I don't know.
Oh, that's so
Mm,
terrible. Oh my
yeah.
god, though. I'm just like, "Oh, what have I done?" But, oh,
Now you
man.
just watch every movie he made and you're like, oh wow. Because he did Powder and Clown House was the one that got him in trouble, I think.
Oh,
Um,
man.
and
Yeah, I
it's
just
just like,
thinking
oh,
back on Jeepers Creepers 2, I mean, it was like the high school football team on a
yeah, a
bus.
bunch of and they're taking their shirts off and
Right!
relaxing, and it's
Oh, no! Yes, they
like, could
were
you
all
ah
suntanning on the roof of the bus.
suntanning? Yeah,
Oh my
could you put a little more suntan lotion on his shoulders? That's slower, slower,
Oh my
slower.
god, it
Ooh.
makes so much sense now.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no. Gonna die. It took me also a hot minute to remember that Jessica Harper is, Suspiria.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
her other big thing. Yeah, I mean, she's so beautiful.
That's so
And
interesting, right? Yeah.
I mean, Suspiria is not a movie where you'd say, "Wow, she really acted her heart out," because there was nothing to do. There was no script. But she, she certainly looked good with lights on her face and everything. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I think half the
but
time that's really all you need.
yeah, it's
She had a
it's
little
it's
bit of
just a
a
mystery.
Margot Kidder vibe a little bit almost.
She did. You could see that, but
Hmm.
it is. You do kind of wonder. I mean, you look at watching some of the movies we watch and everything. It's like, hey, this person was really unusually good in this bad horror movie, and they didn't make much afterwards. And you're like, produced by Harvey Weinstein, mystery solved.
Oh my god, it's so true. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Oh, well, next recommendation is again, it's so funny. I didn't even intend on this. It just kind of happened. Is also about teenagers getting killed. So this movie is Heather's, and Winona Ryder is the new girl in school. I think her name is Veronica. And you know how it is when you're the new kid in school and you're just like the outcast, and she just wants to fit in with the cool kids. And there just so happens to be this clique of girls, and all three of them are named Heather. Oh, but then she meets Christian Slater, and he kind of helps her to get ahead with the cool
Mhm.
kids by maybe getting some of them out of the way. So this movie is very fun. It's a dark comedy, and it's great. And I really that's about it. It's just a very entertaining movie, and there are certain scenes that will just be in my head until the end of time. So, again, this movie is
Nah,
Heathers.
boy, I hate to bring this up, but do you know the
Uh-oh.
story about the director of Heather's?
Stop it.
I'm kidding. He's fine. As
Oh,
far as I know, everything.
ugh.
Yeah, I just was messing with you.
You had me. You totally had me. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh god, what have I done
Oh
now?"
no. Why am
Ah.
I attracted to this sort of thing?
Oh, no. It's awful. Oh god. Well, if
What
you would like
darkness
to
is
watch
inside
Heathers.
me?
That's true. Oh god. Oh. So if you would like to watch Heathers, it is available on Tubi, Shudder, Amazon Prime, Roku, Plex, and I think a couple other places. But yeah, that movie is Heathers. So I heard you might have a third recommendation for us, Bill.
I do because so we had Sisters, which put him on the map, and we had Phantom of the Paradise, which almost erased him off the map. But 2 years later, Brian De Palma came back and came back strong. This was maybe a safer, or well, now it seems like a safe choice, but at the time, not so much. 1976's Carrie. And you know
Hmm.
what? Carrie's an interesting film in that everyone knows about it, everyone knows the bits and everything, but a lot of people haven't seen it in a long time. And if you're one of those folks, I really urge you go back and watch it again because you start discovering this is an extraordinarily well-made movie. We remember all the bits and pieces of it and all, and the fact that this is kind of what launched Stephen King. He was popular at this time. This is one of his first books, and it must have been one of, if not the first Stephen King movie. There's been a lot of Stephen King movies since, and very few of them have come close to how good Carrie is. It's a simple premise, the classic revenge flick, The Worm Turns. The movie is better than the book, and I'm a Stephen King fan, especially his early stuff. This his first book was not, his greatest book. He tried to go for a lot of things. The movie kind of simplified the story, I think, to its benefit. But man, is it beautiful! The color is gorgeous. The acting is fantastic. Um, Obviously, Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, just everyone. John Travolta in an early role, and he's quite good in it. Everyone is great here. He tones down the crazy camera work, although there is a scene when they're dancing at the prom that almost makes you fall over. You get so dizzy, but it
Mm,
works. It actually works within the film. His love of split screen is used to good advantage in this. It's not always, but it is in this one. The effects are good. This one is just top notch stuff. It really holds up. A lot of movies don't hold up. This one does the trick of actually being better than I remembered it. So that was great, and he went on to have a pretty good career. There's quite a few good films in Brian De Palma's career, but these are the three that for me are the most interesting. Back when he was young and trying stuff, succeeding sometimes, failing in others, and just really, really cool stuff. And who knows, maybe he's got another one in him. He's an old guy now and probably willing to just sort of rest on his considerable laurels. But I always wonder when you see filmmakers like that who, as they get older, less and less projects, and not the projects are just not as good as they were. Maybe this really is a young man's game for the
mm.
most part. But is there the chance that, one more time before they go, you look at George Miller and this guy, geez, who would have thought at his age he pulls out a, Fury Road, makes everyone
Right.
feel like, wow, there's still some gas in that tank.
I
So, so there's my Brian De Palma recommendations there.
like
And
it.
do you have one more for us, Renee?
Well, I only have a little bit of a shout out because I know that this is one of Paul's favorite movies. And I just noticed that it was streaming and it is available on Netflix and Paramount Plus. And that movie is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So
Oh,
yeah, so if you get tired of teenagers being murdered, you can watch them just get up to some shenanigans instead. And I really liked this movie when I was a kid. I think I still like this movie. Um, and I know Paul really likes it too. Hey, Paul, what did you think of Edie McClurg's performance in this?
She's fantastic.
interesting take.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, Ferris Bueller's Day Off available on Netflix and Paramount Plus.
Fantastic film. Absolutely fantastic film.
The problem I have with movies like this, maybe it's because I'm a teacher and everything. I'm not.
Oh,
I am not rooting for Ferris. I am not rooting for Ferris at all. He
that's
he
so
seems like a real.
interesting.
He seems like a jerk.
He
And
does definitely like
you
that kid.
know,
You just want to punch him.
now I can't say I'm rooting for the principal either because, and I'm not,
Oy,
and I'm not joking this time, but
boy, have I brought some doozies for you guys?
he had a few brushes with the law involving uh, young folks, and so there we go. Yeah, which is a
Good
shame because I
movie.
love the actor. He's a great actor and so fun in
Right.
everything he's in. But yeah.
Oh,
Oh well. Come
man.
on, guys, stop letting us down, will you?
Seriously, my goodness.
Listen. You know what? Captain Kangaroo. I'm sure he had dreams about being a great actor, and then he slips into this role and everything. And I'm sure, you know, he probably wanted to go. Of course, he wanted to drink. He's Captain Kangaroo, but he kept it cool. He didn't
Mhm,
do that. You
mhm.
know, El Santo never took his mask off. I mean, man, that is the level of commitment that we need from our actors.
It's true.
If you're someone, yeah, yeah, come on. In return, you never have to buy a drink for the rest of your life. Go to a convention, we will take you out to lunch. If you are a celebrity, if you wore a Planet of the Apes mask in Battle for the Planet of the Apes, and you know what? Who am I to tell you otherwise? If you make that claim, I'm buying you lunch. Uh, It's an enviable thing.
Yeah.
So, just don't be a sleaze. Don't, yeah, just
Oh, we
please,
ask.
come
It's
on.
not a lot, right?
Or if you have to be discreet. Cover your tracks.
Cover
Jeez.
your tracks. No joke.
Yeah. I mean, we get Gary Busey. He fell off a motorcycle and exposed his brain was literally exposed to the dirt. All right.
Right. Right.
He's probably about as good as we can expect. But the rest of you,
Right.
come on.
Yeah. No excuses.
Yeah, no excuses. Jeez.
For the weekend of September 23rd, Bill recommended Sisters, available on HBO Max, and Carrie, available on Amazon Prime, Shudder, and AMC Plus, and Phantom of the Paradise. You'll probably have to rent this one, but it is available on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and a few other places. I recommended Jeepers Creepers 2, available on Pluto and Hoopla, and Heathers, available on Prime, Shudder, Tubi, and Plex. And Paul's favorite movie, oh, I'm so sorry, Paul, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, available on Netflix and Paramount Plus.
Peanuts! Peanuts! Peanuts come, peanuts go. Where they go, make you so happy. Yeah! Peanuts! Peanuts! Peanuts make you happy. Imagine peanuts dancing on the field before your eyes. Music playing everywhere you feel it in your style. Make it up for what went wrong, if anyone ever did. Peanuts. Peanuts are your best friend. Peanuts are your best friend. They'll never let you down. Peanuts go so you can have to land. Just peel them open, get the seed inside the peel, and you'll have yourself a peanut. Have yourself a peanut forever and a day. Have yourself a peanut. Peanuts are from heaven. Peanuts are from heaven. And there you have it, buddy. A song about peanuts.